and uncountable nouns. Before doing countable and uncountable nouns, let's see one more time what are nouns. Nouns are naming words. You all know this is very simple. They name a person, a place, or a thing, and sometimes they name an idea as well. But you will learn it later. So persons are boy, teacher, friend, grandpa, similarly doctor, nurse, carpenter, policeman. So many nouns. People, the names of people, they are nouns. Similarly, places, school, road, river, farm, and so many more. Things, book, kitten, water, butter, whatever you see around, that has a name, and names are nouns. Now, countable and uncountable nouns, things that can be counted are countable. Very simple. You know this thing. If you can count something, it's countable. It's a countable noun. For example, cats, flowers, pencils, girls, days, and parks. And things that cannot be counted, they are uncountable. Very simple. If you cannot count something, that is uncountable. So, jam, butter, milk, water, cheese, and pudding, these are uncountable nouns. You can't count water, okay? You can measure it. Countable nouns, they can be singular or plural, okay? A countable noun can be written as a singular noun or a plural noun, and they usually take S or ES. For example, an apple, some apples. But uncountable nouns are always singular. Keep this thing in your mind. Coffee, we cannot say coffees. Milk, we cannot say milks. Similarly, money and pasta. So, countable nouns can be in singular form and can be in plural forms. They take S. But most of the uncountable nouns, they exist only in singular form. Now, if you want to tell the quantity of the amount of uncountable noun, you will always say how much. For example, let's take the basic example of water. Water is uncountable. If you want to tell the quantity of water, if you want to ask about it, you will always say how much. Okay, for uncountable nouns we use how much, and for countable nouns we use many. It's very simple. Because countable nouns can be counted, so we say how many, and because uncountable nouns cannot be counted, so we say how much. So for uncountable nouns we say how much in question, and for answer we can say a lot, a little, some, or we can also say isn't any. Okay, if the answer is in negative, we can say there isn't any. Let's see how much water is there. There is a lot of water. A lot means quite some amount. And how much sugar is there? There is a little sugar, or there is some sugar if the quantity is less. And we can also say there isn't any sugar. For negative answer, you will use there isn't any sugar. Now look at countable nouns, the things that you can count. How many? Okay, for question you will use how many, and for answer you can say many, few, or you can tell the number, actual number as well. For example, how many girls are there? There are 2 girls, there are 6 girls. Or you can say there are many girls, you can say there are few girls. How many eggs are there? There are few eggs, there are 6 eggs. Or you can even say there isn't any egg. There isn't any egg, there aren't any eggs. Both ways you can say it. Next, let's ask and answer some question. Look at these pictures. How much jam is there? Look at the picture. Can you tell me how much jam is there? There is a lot of jam, okay? Because this big jar is full, almost full, so we can say there is a lot of jam. Now look at rice. Rice is uncountable, no? We cannot count them. So how much rice is there? There is a little rice, or there is some rice in the plate. Now, how many animals are there? Think about it. Animals are countable, so how many? You can say there are some animals, there are few animals, or you can tell the actual number as well. There are 5 animals. Next is how many apples are there? You can say there are 3 apples. You can tell the actual number. Or you can say there are some apples, or there are few apples. And is there any tea? This is a question. Can you see any tea here? No. So how will we answer this? Is there any tea? There. We cannot say there is no tea. Okay. There isn't any tea. How will we answer this question? There isn't any tea. For negative answers, you have to add any. Let's read this dialogue. You have to practice this dialogue. Actually, a mother and daughter, mom and Sarah, they are trying to make cake. They are baking. So their daughter is asking about a few things. Let's see. Sarah, I want to bake a cake, mom. Are there any eggs? Mom, there are some eggs or there are few eggs in the basket. Sarah, what about flour? Is there any? Mom, there is a lot of flour in the bag. Sarah, how much butter can I take? Mom, yes dear, there's a lot of butter in the fridge and some sugar in the jar. So, you have seen how we describe the quantities of nouns. Again, I'm telling you, for countable nouns, in questions we say how many, and for uncountable nouns we say how much. And to answer how much, we can say a lot, a little, or some. And for answering how many, we can say few, some, and we can also tell the number, actual number. Countable and uncountable nouns. Now look at the pictures. Okay, so countables are like apple and apples, car and cars, dog and dogs, star and stars. You can count them. And there's a question, how many stars can you see? Okay, here it's only one star, but just to tell you that how to make a question and how to answer the question, for stars, since you can count them, you can say I can see 1 star, I can see 2 stars, I can see 3 stars. Look at uncountable nouns. What is it? Water, uncountable. Bread, uncountable. But loaves are countable. Bread is uncountable. Grass. And what is this picture? Oh, it's happiness. You know, happiness is a noun. It's an emotion. So how much happiness can you see here on this face? I can see a lot of happiness. Can you see it as well? Yes. So these are some ideas to make questions and answer them. For example, how much water can you see? I can see a little water. Is it so? Yes. And how many loaves of bread? You can say, I can see some bread, or I can see 3 loaves of bread. 3 loaves of bread or some bread.